Let there be light.
Let there be light. Oh my gosh, I love our pre-conversation, and we were talking about the conversation starting. So I'm like, oh my god, I love that jacket that you're wearing, and I saw it as a regal royal robe of like, oh my god, and I'm like, I want that. And then like, I got it on Temu. I'm like, oh my god, I love Temu, and we got into this conversation as to how we consciously spend our finances. It's about intention. Where do I want this form of energy to go? Whether that's money or thoughts or all of this is energy. I'm very, very conscious as to the
I'm
way
not ignoring you. I'm trying to put our
I don't ever think that you're ignoring me. It's hard to ignore me because I keep on going on and on. Someone told me that Ralph sometimes uses the remote to see if I'll turn off.
Mhm.
Don't work. It
Oh yeah.
doesn't.
What's funny is if I go to your page, it says you're live and I can't get to it.
It's a bit of a fugly system, like fucked up. What the? I'm not loving all of technology at all. Check
Oh,
out
I
the
am absolutely right there
check
with
out
you.
exponential joy. Um, check out exponential joy. I don't want to fuck around and find out what happens if I hit the wrong buttons. That used to be a
FAFO, my favorite thing to spend some time with. No,
oh,
it finally popped up. It's like a
did it finally
delay.
pop up? Well, and I giggled when I said that fuck around and find out because that was one of the idle threats during my domestic violence relationship. Fuck around and find out, right? That threat. So when I said I don't want to fuck around and find out what happens when I hit the button, I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, no.
Um, it's so funny because there are terms that
Yeah.
you're allowed to use online. That one people don't seem to mind. Um,
Oh,
but like in TikTok, you're not allowed to say the action that happens when you unalive somebody. So everybody says unalive because if you say the other one, it gets uh
so the DELETE.
no MUR one. You unalive someone. You can't use the one that rhymes with shrill, and you can't use the one that rhymes with intruder.
Wow.
Yeah, so people use the term unalive.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? The censorship of humanity has been a um long-term agenda that we don't always understand. And there's a lot of long-term patterns and agendas that we don't understand. It's interesting when I say agenda, sometimes I'll get the, oh, you're one of those.
What does that mean?
Oh, you mean people that see a patterning in life? Conspiracy theorist. I'm like, oh my God. You know what? Call me what you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Um, I mean, I think that there's a big difference between conspiracy theorists and people that notice patterns.
And
You
that's what
know,
I do. I notice patterns. It's my divine gift, and it's what helps me help people move forward in the direction of their
well,
dreams.
and it's different to be skeptical about what you're being told and then come up with your whole idea behind what's going on.
We're talking about the fifth agreement.
Yes, right.
The
Be
fifth
skeptical
agreement. Oh my God.
and learn to listen.
Right?
Um,
Be skeptical. Be skeptical. Don't buy into every thought because it may not resonate with what's going on with you, right? And
mhm.
right? Be skeptical. And what's the second part, Kitty?
Learn to listen.
Learn to listen. While I'm always talking, I can't ever shut up. I'm joking.
Um,
I have learned to listen.
and I think that's the
Yeah.
difference between, for me, a conspiracy theory or somebody who is questioning. I can give you an example,
Yes, please.
and some people I don't use the word trigger, this will activate you
Activate.
for some
Activate.
people.
Yes. Yes.
When the COVID vaccine and everything was going around, I understood people's skepticism about what was going on, how it was being handled, was it really tested, all of those things.
Mhm.
Thought was much more conspiracy based was when you had to assign it's big pharma, it's blah blah blah. That's when you cross over of being skeptical and learn to listen to judging.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. That is
so
so very, very true. And
that you have
judgment.
to find the reason behind it versus something is
Mhm.
not right for me, something it feels here's the risk I'm either willing to take or not willing to take, or and
Yeah.
unfortunately, governments. Um, and I've been actually studying quite a bit recently about past history
Mm.
information and stuff that has been coming through. And you know, democracy or men governing themselves, and it was men. Um,
Oh,
you know,
yes, yes,
when
yes,
you
that
went back
there's
even
no, if you don't believe that men governed over, I mean, all you have to do is look at the slavery and, the yes massa. It was yes master, it wasn't mastress, it was the man that enslaved, right? Like there was a very strong, physical restraint by the male dominancy,
still
and
there,
that
still there.
still there, still there, and not all men. I'm not a man basher, hater. I mean, I've got 4 amazing sons. Wait, 5. I've got a bonus son. 5. I have 5 sons, 5 sons, 5 sons. I've just got to change my verbiage. 5 sons. And son, and like, I mean, I appreciate how men innately want to be respected. It is part of their wiring. Women want to be loved and want to love. It's interesting. And we have those behaviors in each of us, right? It's this
Right.
wavy, wonderful. Historically, the repression of women within the bureaucracy, the political, the hierarchy, it's a fact. You don't like it?
Well, it's to be learned from, and that's kind of where we are. So, um, as I have looked at this very interesting astrological energy that we started to talk about,
Oh, right?
um, it has some patterns, just like we talk about be skeptical and learn to listen. It has some patterns of where we cross to conspiracy and power over, and in when it becomes judgments. And
Yes.
so again, that questioning, um, the key is a compassion. I may not feel the same way you do. It's when I cross over and have to make it, well, don't you understand? It's this happening to you. When I have to have some kind of feeling that there has to be a knowledge and an understanding versus I seek to understand more why. So governments, democracy in particular, or the concept of democracy, the first ones were Romans, and then it was 1,000 years before we kind of tried it again, really,
Mm,
um, except in smaller pockets. There were some historical pockets. And again, it was men, and it was very much set up in a kingdom kind of understanding.
yes,
And even our modern democracy still has, though at least they tried to balance it.
yes, yes, yes.
Um,
We have definitely come to a more combined
Well,
way.
and it's the astrology is what is very, very interesting, especially here in the United States, um, is three of these big shifts
Mhm.
are these outer planets, and each of those outer planets were in these signs during three different wars.
Yes,
One
yes,
was the Revolutionary War, one was the Civil War, and one was the World War II. The Revolutionary War was this idea that men could govern themselves and that we weren't going to be in this continent part of kingship.
The
that we
monarch.
were the monarchy, to have royal family. Again, it was white male property owners still. And again, there was a codicil, be skeptical but not listening necessarily piece of that, because it was about, well, you had property, so you had owned something and you should be more worthy. Then we have the Civil War, which was another planet, um, in a similar sign that we're moving into. And that was actually the planet of spirit. So this even makes more sense. So, really, when this planet moved into this, it became about slavery. The Civil War was not originally about slavery, it was about trying to break away and ownership and,
Yes.
brother against brother. The Emancipation Proclamation is what added that as a key piece of it. And
Like you
Thomas,
said, that codicil that was added, it was this is the move, the way that we're moving
well, and
into with
it
a
was
yeah, but.
it was a new understanding of spirit, and we're about to head into another
Mhm.
cycle of spirit, of what makes us flow, of what we uncover about mankind. And it was an abomination, and from that point, across the world, we started to abolish slavery. We're still working on that,
Isn't that
idea,
just incredible, right?
that we dehumanize. And so we started
That we
with the
we
ideal,
dehumanize any group of culture.
or put one group ahead of the other, like ranking.
Yes,
And
yes, the
because
caste system, right?
that's what World War II became about, was the physical land for Germany and Japan, but the superiority of the Aryan race, that whole piece that stepped forward there.
Mhm.
And again, looking at the placement that we're talking about that is aligned with that, was about the chaotic, and it was about technology. It's the ruler of what the vision is, and if you believe you're superior, that was the vision, that was the declaration of the war. So in this time that's coming forward, those three outer energies, big
Mhm.
energies, are all moving into those signs.
And the patterning is here again for a
Us to release.
major shift.
Yes,
A major
it is
shift.
a definite evolutionary
Mhm.
opportunity to take a look at the vision of how we think, the energy around how spiritually we embrace who we are as human beings, and
Individual. Individual.
right.
I.
Well, and it's the whole, um, that middle one is just like the Civil War, was about my own personal
Mhm.
autonomy, personally standing up for what is right, personally. Um, and then here's the third shift that we're taking a look at again. Is there a superior race or not a superior race? So all of these ideals, we can govern ourselves. There is abomination on how we treat each other. Spirit is asking us, and it's not one better than the other.
No, no.
And all three of those huge themes
Mhm.
are presenting themselves in this 7 months. We've already started with one, and we have two more coming. And so
And
what
and you and I have been talking about this. You
Mhm.
have been talking about it. I've been talking about it. You were on that amazing podcast with Jeanette and S.
Shannon.
Shannon, thank you. ST.
I haven't shared that to Intuition of the Soul yet. I need to share that.
Oh my goodness. I've been listening to it in bits and pieces. I have a lot of deliberate intentions on my plate. So for me, that means I need to work on this. Like, I mean, I've got um a agenda and schedule that I allow ease and grace into, so that when
Mhm.
the obstacles and challenges come into my life
Well,
and life
and
goes
that's the only way to
sideways.
handle this. That's the only way to handle this energy, because
Well,
it's
handle
huge.
life in general, because
Yeah.
we cannot guarantee. We can worry ourselves into a wet paper bag situation where we feel like we're stuck in a wet paper bag. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? I am here now in the present, this reality of this day. is the present that I wished for. Like this is the today is the future that I imagined and
Mhm.
that my actions took to create. Tomorrow is the future that I create today. It's the manifestation within the matrix.
Mhm.
What are you doing today? How are you working on this individual consciousness, this bulb around you? What are your energetics like? How are you behaving? What are you doing? What are you creating, right? It's it's very powerful to remember what's happening in your house
Mhm.
matters. That's what matters most. What's happening in your house, your physical being, your emotional being, your spiritual being, your financial being. And when you look at where your planets are on your own chart, it
Your own
gives
story,
you
yep.
your own story, your own chart. And if you don't know what that story and chart is, reach out to, whoops, Kitty. She's that
Yeah, you're
lady.
on this side of me, so yeah,
Kitty,
mirror.
Kitty has brought so much joy into my life with an understanding of how this being, this lovely lady who is exponential joy and a human being who struggles at times with obstacles and challenges, how this beautiful life that was created with me, for me, by me, responds, is activated. What happens? It's
Mhm.
easier when you understand your own life vessel
And
experience,
what you signed up for,
what you
what you
signed up
signed up
for.
for, what you signed up to learn
I
about.
didn't sign up for this. Yeah, you did, sunshine. Yeah, you
Well,
did.
and it's brought to you in a way for you to learn and, you know,
Life's an adventure, Kitty. Life
yeah,
would be very, very boring if everything happened the way you wanted it.
life is a highway. I'm gonna
Right?
ride it all.
It's an adventure, and there are
Mhm.
challenges and obstacles. It's
Yeah,
I was explaining to a client last week that it's like the fun house.
yeah.
We go into the fun house and the ground moves and shifts. The mirrors are all wonky. The
Oh, and
mirrors
that's
are
an
being
important thing, the
today.
mirrors, what is reflected. And
Yeah.
in your journey, what you choose to see and reflect out, are you the mirror or are you the light itself? We are both at different times. And have we go back to be skeptical, learn to listen. Am I just, I take my skepticism, but do I distort it to get an understanding without the listening part?
And skepticism, it doesn't okay, for me, it's never gonna work out. The it's good to look at situations and wonder if you say it's never gonna work out, it
But
ain't
that
gonna
is
ever
that
work
really
out.
skepticism or is that
That's
judgment?
that's
It's
that's judgment.
judgment.
That's
Yeah,
judgment.
because you go from, wow, this I'm not sure how this is going to work.
No wonder.
Um, there's a challenge to it making a decision about it. It's that same conspiracy piece.
I know how that came up, in my life. So, we've got a change in our politicalness here.
Mhm.
For me, I struggle with even saying political leadership, so that's where politicalness came from. Eh. I'm in Canada, in case anybody's wondering. We just had a change. Spirit said there was a dethroning. Yeah. I was talking about the hope for the potential of having our carbon tax, the carbon tax that we have been raped and pillaged by the carbon tax here in Canada. And I said, when that change happens, we have the potential to have our condo fees lowered. Because at condominium, you pay fees so that it's HOA fees, I believe in America, it's called
Yeah,
more.
well, they're called condo, but they're homeowners association fees. Yes.
Yeah, and well, once those fees go up, they never go down. And I'm like, I hope they do. Oh, you're always so positive. And I'm like, well, I hope. The hope of the prices going down is a wonderful hope, isn't it? Oh,
Right.
it's not possible. Well, I would like to think it is. I
Well,
like to hope
yeah,
for good things.
years ago, there was a reduction in Maine. The company was called Central Maine Power. My husband worked for it.
Mhm.
Um, because something shifted in the tax and whatever. Now, has it gone back up? Absolutely. And it's also regulated. But then it got deregulated. And um, the actual cost of the wattage went down. And the company, God love them, I thought it was the funniest thing, did a commercial with pigs flying in wings. You know, when pigs fly, it'll go down because the skeptics would say that.
There
So
was a
they had all
store
these
called
pigs, dun,
there
da,
was a store
da, and I'm like
there was a
laughing,
store in
like,
Edmonton called When Pigs Fly, and then
yeah,
it shut down, and I was so sad because I like to go in there and look at all of the, it was a
curiosity, yeah, curio, yeah.
curio shop. Oh my
Yeah.
god, and it had the most raunchy, racy, funny things. Oh my god, like raunchy,
Oh,
um,
like
funny
Spencer's gifts. Yeah.
condomy kind of stuff, and I love that stuff. I think it's hilarious. I like buying gifts for people that are gift jokes. I
Yeah,
really
well, it's
do.
clever. It's using a different part of the brain to be, quite
Oh, what
funny.
beautiful creativity. And change is constant in this world.
Right.
How the world is gonna change, I like to focus on the positive potential.
Mhm.
Why? Because I create positive change in my life by the decisions that I make, the people I align with.
Well, and when you're being skeptical, um, questioning it, negative isn't bad. It's denial.
Oh, right,
And
and I mean, okay,
yeah,
anybody read my memoir to see how long I was in denial?
yeah,
Like,
because
I built a raft. I built a raft and rowed down it or paddled,
denial gives your power away.
and I gave
So
my power away. Yes, I did.
right, and so when, when you can come up with the negative thoughts, but then when you go to judgment, that's when it becomes denial because you've given away your power to other possibilities. So there's nothing wrong with negative. Well, I'm not sure that's gonna work, but, it's when you
Absolutely.
it's when you turn it into because it never works, that now you've given your power away because
You become a victim,
yeah.
V for victim.
And you've given your power away, and therefore that's when things can take over because you aren't poised to see them. And
Yes.
I just, like I said, I go back to that commercial. I thought it was one of the funniest, cleverest things anyway. The rates are going down. Da, 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 and the pigs come flying across the
Well,
screen. Yeah.
and what we can do is watch and observe, like you said, the
Mhm.
pigs fly. There's a shift in media. There are more of us, you and I, because we're part of the media now, because we're sharing information. So it's expanded so much. See
Well,
what part of the ocean you like. Like there's like it's like jellyfish and sea
yes, because
urchins
it has
and sharks
definitely
and
expanded. You have a
oh,
choice in your
yeah,
media what you are looking
absolutely.
at. And
Absolutely.
I think it's interesting that I don't know what's going on in Canada, but the old time news and whatever, they're calling themselves the legacy news, which, okay. And more people are tuning out of it. I was, our former president, Carter, passed away at 100.
Oh, yes, that was such
Um,
a long lifetime.
oh,
Yeah.
and, he left when he was 56 years old. And he spent the next 44 years continuing to give back. He worked on projects in Africa for clean water, not just the Habitat for Humanity. He actually will probably be better known for what he did after than even
Oh,
before. And he was a very good man, very honest man.
who
And anyway, so he's a
well,
wonderful
and
ghost.
in
He's a wonderful
Canada,
ghost for the
our
White House.
our prime minister, and because we are still part of the Commonwealth,
Mhm.
he behaved in a way that was as though he were the king of the castle, and we were the dirty rascals. And he resigned So to see where our system goes, like what happens next.
I hope it goes in a
Um,
much more positive direction than ours is at the moment. Um, so
Yours talks about ours too. It's
yeah,
this
yeah.
it's and I just sit back because again, I can manage what happens in my house. I can't I don't have control over that. God grant
And
me
I
the
can use,
serenity to
and what
accept
I
the
can do
things.
is use my voice when I can
Yes,
use it on it.
absolutely. My voice is
You
mine.
know,
Um,
look at what
like if you think there's a handmaiden thing that's going to go over my face to shut my mouth,
yeah. Um
not a
well,
chance.
but I look at the people of Korea when they wanted to do martial law and they went, "No, no,
Yes.
no."
Yes.
Or the people of Syria who said, you know,
Well, and we have so much power as like as people. Look back in time because we're talking about looking back on time to see how time was when we collaborated together as individuals. I feel like I'm doing sign language. Wait,
that's eat or
thank
please.
you. Please.
So thank you is this please.
I took sign language for 2 years.
Uh,
So I know
thank you, please. What's
boy,
more?
boy,
What's
boy.
um sorry.
This is poop.
Yeah, that's this is bathroom. You know, having worked in the field of special ed, there were
So
certain
and
survival
this
signs you learned. Yeah.
you do. And when we work as one, like individually as one, we line up with those that are on a similar understanding as we are.
And there's an energy.
Understanding. There's an
And
energy. It's so
1
beautiful.
plus 1 is not 2, it's 3, it's 4, it's another
Yes.
whole energy, and that's when we are presented with these undercurrent themes that have appeared in some of these big checks in time, we have an opportunity to use that energy differently, and it's showing, it is certainly showing right now the more traditional, in your face kinda energy for us to go, "No, nothing over
No,
my mouth. No, I'm not doing that. No, um, this is not where we want to go as a group, as a collective, as a, you know,
no, no,
it isn't just about who's got the most money wins. Um, and
no.
it is, I mean, part of the reasons kings and queens could be around for so long is there was a buy in culturally of their superiority.
Yes.
That isn't around anymore. Now, especially in this country, we have people fighting that tooth and nail. They're not going gently into the night. Um,
Oh, I love that. I love that. Dead Poets Society.
yeah,
Watch that movie. If you haven't seen that movie, it resonates so much with what we're talking about.
it's Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage, rage against the
Great.
dying of the light. Now, he
Yes.
wrote that for his father because he wanted him to fight to live.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
it Here is where that be skeptical and learn to
Oh,
listen.
it was also in Spirit's showing me another one. Michelle Pfeiffer, Dangerous Minds.
Oh,
She
Um,
also spoke about it in that because she was teaching her children the difference between the two Dylans, Bob Dylan and Dylan Thomas.
mhm. And
Understanding those who speak about the um, challenges and obstacles and the way to behave in a way to, and again, being skeptical, question, behave in a way that you look at the beliefs that have created the patterning within the system that you are in, the system of family, the system of sisterhood, the system of familia, your familiars. Wow, that was really fast. I'm just like, whoa, slow the truck down, guys. I'm trying to keep up.
well, and that's very true because when I talk about there are people who are gonna rage, rage, rage against the dying of the light, it is in a understanding of trying to hold on to what is familiar
Yep.
in the patriarchal society, and that somehow if they give their power up, they are lessened versus, and so that's their rage. That's why this is so much rage right now.
Yes. And it's
It's
the
because,
hierarchy. And
right,
it and
it's a
I
belief
want
system. It is a
it's a
belief
belief
system.
system, and I want you to all understand that macrocosm and the microcosm. Okay, so the macrocosm is the large framing of the cities, provinces, states, cities, states, because we're Canada, provinces, America, states, the countries that you are within, and those that are not within and beyond, how that all groups together in the macrocosm, and those beliefs affect the microcosm. So that's the corporate structure within organizations. I've been
Mhm.
working with people who are at a crossing point in their jobs because of the way that they are spoken to by superiors, like, that's just the way it is around here. Well, if that's the way it is around here, begin looking for someone to replace me because I'm not staying in this system.
Well, and that's what the microcosm has the power now.
Yes.
People, the microcosm bought into the macrocosm's beliefs. And at this macrocosm level, um, I'm going to call it out, white males aren't going to, a lot of them aren't going to volunteer to be equal. They like being superior. They have lived, and they don't even necessarily understand it. They don't
No,
understand it. They've never walked. And so it
you
is
see
the,
it in many cultures. You see it in many cultures, Kitty.
right.
And if you look at I'm not good at geography. Me, like what I studied, and I love how spirit shows me within the um European is what they're saying.
Yeah, Eurasia was the
Eurasia.
whole continent,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
In the European,
look at the cultures. Look at the
well, and
cultures.
it
Like the
really wasn't
Italian.
until we had the leaders, the kings and the
uh,
queens, that even other ethnics started
Yes,
to adapt some of that.
absolutely. And they began to have rulership over, right? Like the expectation of, okay, so I come from German. I love spirit. They're so helpful today. Germania, so Germany. And Ralph's family is Italian. Now,
You have a
I
Hessian
was,
background, yes.
pardon me?
Hessian, German. Yeah,
Yes.
Hessian was yeah.
I was expected as a young girl to the men ate first, and that was because of the men ate first because of they would go out and work on the fields and the crops. They needed more food because they were going to do the physical labor. And children, the men and the men ate first, then the children, then the women. And I remember when I was about 13, I'm like, I sat down at the table. Nancy, you don't eat with the men. I'm like, I am. I'm not leaving, right? Because that system didn't resonate with
Well, the system was no longer needed. The
exactly.
So that what people bought into,
Weren't
and
on
this,
the farm anymore.
right, this is part of this evolution. And what's very interesting about one of the other planets' movements is there's a level of compassion for us to deal with these other three energies, huge
Yes.
energies, about understanding you can do it differently. I can have compassion that is how you see it. That you see this as a threat to your way of life. You see this as something
Yes.
that's changing. And I can have compassion for it. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it. And that's the difference between be skeptical and learn to listen. That compassion piece.
Oh, I can compassionately listen to other people and
Mhm.
their thoughts, their beliefs with curiosity and observance.
Right. And what compassion means is it doesn't mean it's okay, but I can say, hmm, and I can model what that looks like and how we can, uh, as much happened in civil rights between people having conversations as marching,
Yes. Oh, the
and
conversation piece, oh my
and
goodness.
and
Yes.
leaders who were everyday people who said, "No, I'm not going to treat somebody like that. No, I'm not doing that. There's something wrong with this." And Jim
Oh,
Crow laws were
look at
overturned by
look at
people going, "No,"
look at the difference that Martin Luther King made, and, oh, they're showing me initials, that doesn't help too much. The the beautiful lady on the bus.
Rosa Parks.
Thank you. Um, wow,
And she
incredible
she didn't
change
do
in
it as a
history.
big stand. She was tired.
Yes.
She's just
Yes,
tired.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah.
Like like, my gosh,
Nelson
with great
Mandela.
Nelson Mandela, with great is that what's that Spider-Man? They're speaking to that. With great power comes great responsibility.
Mhm.
The power of the mind.
They were all very
Spider-Man,
they
right?
were all very
Spider-Man
compassionate people.
Spider-Man had, um skills that he used to help others. That's what Spider-Man did. That's what Batman did. Like, that's what the hero did. And you're a hero on a journey.
Well, and it's so interesting. So let's go. I'm gonna go back to the astrology because this always fascinates me.
Please, can you
Um,
tell us about Mars and where it's at right now? Tell
well,
me.
and I'm going to tell you about the nodal axis that is switching on Saturday.
Okay.
So, and when we talk about those are called nodes of destiny. So that already moves it up, Um, and so Mars is now switched into Cancer. And so we had a really retrograde. We had a really long period of time where we
And
looked at
retrograde means when a planet moves back
not really
ish, ish,
ish. It's like when you're walking with someone and they slow way down and
slows down.
and
Thank you.
you keep going, it almost looks like they're going backwards, but they're not really going backwards. It's just though it does kind of go back, and what happens is the sky is moving and it's kind of holding still. It's
Holding
slowed way
still.
down. Yeah. Um, and so
This is near, this is far, is what spirit just showed me from,
yes, it's
um
that perception thing. Remember
no,
how
no,
they
no,
used
no.
to show the little guy and then the
Oh,
other guy,
that
and
that
then
was
when they
Sesame Street? That was Grover. This
yeah,
is near, and
and
this
this
is
is
far,
far, right.
right? Where
Um,
I'm not really moving.
Right, because the sky is always moving. So if the planet slows down, the degrees because it's the degrees of the sky that are measured. That's why it goes back over. So it's not really going backwards, but anyway, it's about internal. It's a slowdown for internal work. And so
Yes.
Mars and Leo spent time teaching us our personal authority, and now that it's in Cancer, it's teaching how do I pivot with compassion. And Mars isn't necessarily the most compassionate planet. It is the warrior
Yes,
energy
it
at
and it
start.
activates,
Yeah, and
um,
it teaches
activates.
us to pivot, to
Yes.
to take the time to pivot and figure out where we want to nurture our will. Is it and most of the time it comes back to ourselves. How do I nurture myself in this and still hold my space but leave you a space? And in this collective Aquarian energy that is Pluto transforming to it. And then, so on the 11th, and it will move on January 11th and move out, be there until July 26, 2026, 7/26/26. We move into the axis of Virgo and Pisces. And the south node is Virgo, the north node is Pisces. And a south node in Virgo, so it really fits into what we're talking about, is teaching us where we felt guilty. Where have we thought we weren't enough? That's that microcosm, is letting go of where we thought we weren't enough, where we thought we had an obligation of service that we don't have, a king, a queen, an entitled, human being that, and what we're moving towards is a real deep, our souls, meditation, uncovering of who we are, being comfortable with that and allowing that space for other people to be who they are. One of the things that you hear about is people who need assistance, well, they're sucking off the system. That's a United States thing.
Oh, hey, it's in here in Canada too. It's here in Canada. Judgment is big.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
judging.
and so it's like
I break into
it's
my American accent there, y'all judging.
yeah.
I have a
Um,
lot of American friends between American accent and a Newfie accent.
Um,
Me mother said take care of those that can't take care of themselves.
right. There but the grace of God am I.
Bingo.
And there but the grace of Gus is what I'd say now. Of Gus am I. Um, by the way, folks, when I say Gus, it's not that I've named God. It stands for God, universe, source, spirit.
And
Um,
God is goddess as well for
yeah.
everybody. We
Well,
believe very
I
strongly.
was always taught it was a neutral word,
I
just
was
like
taught that too. I was taught that.
I
I have
mean,
been,
God is dog spelled backwards. Dogs are both male and female, so
yeah, right? You
yeah.
bitch. Um,
Um,
I have been
so
playing with the Mary Magdalene deck on
oh,
my lives. Oh my God. Oh, and I'm creating something big with Mary Magdalene and the seven
I
powers,
love
which were
I
called the seven demons that Mary had. Yo, wrong about Mary.
oh I read Mary Magdalene Revealed because of Jeanette.
I know. I know. I know. I know.
What an amazing book about shifting.
Ooh, Spirit told me collaboration with us.
Oh yeah,
Clap it
well
up.
Mary Magdalene's been a guide of mine since I was young. Ever
Oh,
tell you
oh,
that?
me too.
Ever
Oh,
tell you
me
that
too.
story about it?
No, no, and I didn't know how much of a guide Mary Magdalene it was in my life until I read the Mary Magdalene. I used to I used to do nursery
I'm talking
rhymes
about the
in
book
my
Mary
head.
Magdalene Revealed. Do you remember who the author is?
Yes, Megan with two G's, Watterson with two T's.
Watterson with two T's. Yeah,
Yeah,
Megan. Yeah.
amazing. Oh yeah, I used to, as a child, make up nursery rhymes in my head, and I would change the words to help me digest the shadow experiences in my life. I wasn't given the I wasn't allowed to voice as a child. Oh Nancy, as well as I would see things and tell things, and I was told I was lying. So I buried my gifts pretty deep. And I used to do nursery rhymes with the words. So Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your
How does your
garden
garden
grow?
grow?
Right? Yeah, like lots of things like that. And I used to Proud Mary, keep on was what was my um Roland, that was one that Spirit played for me when I was in an abusive relationship, battered relationship, so that I could take back my power and control like Tina did with Ike.
Rolling on the river. Yep.
But you want to tell me Mary's been strong in my life too. And it's a beautiful relationship when we understand our relationship with Spirit.
Well, it was amazing to read. Um, the divine feminine she was the consort of Christ,
Yes.
and the one I still think about, and I am sure in my lifetime, those 3 pages that are missing, that aren't in any scripture. So Mary Magdalene had a gospel
Yes.
for those folks watching this or watching this in replay, and good old council where everything had become when the canon was written in the 3rd century. Um, that's when everything became really patriarchal. They threw out a lot of the gospels, including the Gospel of Mary, and they destroyed the Gospel of Mary. And the oldest version they can find of this, the same 3 pages are missing. And it's when the apostles went to Mary and said, there's something he has taught you that that we don't know. And what is it? And that's where it goes away.
And it
And then
is.
it comes back as she is, and it's numbered, so they know the pages are actually missing. It comes back after she's finished the explanation, and the apostles nod.
Revelations is what Spirit keeps on speaking. I just keep on getting revelations. And that's where the revolt comes from and the revelations come from. And sadly, the sky is falling
Chicken Little.
fear that happens so often when we talk about the apocalypse and
Well, that was purposely underlined and edited. I mean, I was very lucky that even as a child, when people say, well, the Bible says, the Bible is inspired by God, but
Jesus
edited by
loves me,
man.
this I know, so the Bible tells me so.
Right. This was inspired by God, but edited by man. Always remember, edited by man. And very much.
Thank you, Carol. This is the third time I've watched 3 different podcasts, including this talking about Mary Magdalene. Threes. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some
Yeah.
beauty in the
So
divine.
I
Divine
would read
timing is
Mary
amazing.
Magdalene Revealed. You can get it on Amazon. It's an amazing book, but it also is an amazing book about the history of the church. And
Yes.
yeah.
And history, to understand history is to question intention, purpose, and that's the history of your own family too. Like I keep bringing it back to family because we are the microcosm, and it's okay to question. You're not meant to be seen and not heard.
Well, and this is why I'm looking at the astrology, those
Yes.
3 wars, this energy all showing up with this energy of amazing compassion, because as the microcosm, we can challenge, and reading that book will show you how interwoven this suppression was from the canon on in the church. And it, this axis, nodal axis that we're leaving, was for us, it was the south node in Libra and the north node in Aries. So it was about sparking the soul to do something new, understanding this is a new cycle. And by the way, the soul's energy, Neptune, spirit, is moving into a new cycle. And so the work now that we have, so we let go of beliefs that didn't bring us balance, that really weren't aligned with our values. And now we're looking at, how do I let go of the patterns I had around those beliefs? I understand
Mhm.
I don't want these beliefs anymore, but I have some really ingrained patterns. This is Virgo energy that have generated solutions that don't serve me because it really isn't my pattern. So I'm going to look at guilt. I'm going to look at where I've bought into the belief I'm not enough. Women have been being told they're not enough for forever, you know?
And men have been told, I'm going back to the Jeanette Biro spirits showing me what the ST lady said,
Shannon, take us.
Shannon.
Mhm,
Well, we haven't had a relationship yet, so it's hard for me to remember her name. About men um, holding back their tears, don't
mhm.
cry,
Well, that
all of
it's
these
the
don't
suppression
express
of the
their emotion.
feminine
It's
across the
suppression
board.
of the feminine across the board.
Right.
I
It's
have
not about men and women, it's about the feminine being suppressed.
I have a very special a very special coaching relationship with a very fine fellow who expressed to his boss how he felt about the way that he was spoken to, and his boss, the superior, said, "Since when do your feelings matter?"
Mhm.
And because I'm coaching a man about expressing his emotions in a way that is balanced, um, his response was similar to, "Well, they matter now because I'm looking for another job. Take note." And he walked out.
Yep.
They
Well,
matter now. And
one
and
of
and we our feelings do matter because our feelings are when we say on a job site, "This isn't safe," or "You are treating me in a way that, I mean, that is unacceptable for me." When it's not okay, it's not okay. We can speak, and the other person can be skeptical and listen. Listen, Linda, right? Yeah.
Linda, Linda, listen, listen. That little boy is infamous, isn't he?
It's
Um,
so cute.
this is, at grandma's we can, trying to talk to his mom. Linda, Linda, listen. Um, I yes, because it's not about, again, it's not about, it's feminine. It's the feminine part of us that has been given the message that it's not enough. Um, and um, it's
Nurturing the love, the heartfelt. and we have both sides. That's where the warrior
But there's a
inside.
feminine archetype warrior
There's
too.
but there's
Yeah.
so much. We are multidimensional beings.
We're the ones that make it separate. And
Yeah,
that's, again, the denial. The denial of the feminine has made a separation that has to be reintegrated.
yeah.
And, one of the things as women have climbed through corporations is I think of often Margaret Chase Smith was one of the few women, and she called out women about Congress years ago. One of the few women of like 3 out of the 1,000, who were in Congress. And what people don't understand is the Civil Rights Bill. The word sex was not argued on the floor of Congress. It was a conversation at 5 minutes to 12 before the bill went into law to add those words. And with that strength, so as women have climbed the corporate ladder, for some people they've tried to do it like men, and the strength of the feminine and the strength of a good boss is to
A good
come at it
leader, leader.
leader, to come at it from I need your input, not dictator down. And
Absolutely.
and the strength of the masculine is to be able to work with that and take a next step to see the overview. It doesn't mean it's a man or a woman, it's how do I integrate that energy. And
Absolutely. And it's like spirits showing me they showed me follow the leader, 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 follow the leader, do, do, do. It's they're showing me all these beautiful line dancey, like the do the Macarena. Oh,
Mhm,
na 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 na, da, na,
yeah.
da, na, da, na, da, na. And
I
when
used
we're
to
right,
I
shaky.
I used to teach the months of the year that way. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 12 months in a year.
Oh my gosh, that's so much fun. And
Yeah.
you were able to teach, lead, um, mold. Spirit
Well,
said groom. Spirit said groom, and I'm like, can I please have another word? Mold. I'm like, whoa, groom, eat. Can we mold those
well,
beautiful young minds with the brilliance that you had and bringing it forward and making it fun? And there is so much because when we're working together, gosh, they're showing me all these dances where someone is in front and someone is behind, and then you shift and change.
right. One is supporting the other
Remember
without the
that
move.
one dance? I got a demo because they're demanding that I do it. So forward, backwards, hop, 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 leg, leg, forward, backwards, hop, hop, hop. It's kind of like a wedding thing. We did it at weddings. I don't know
Um,
what it is. It's an old 50s, 60s,
locomotion.
right? So they're like, and it's like
Or
oh my gosh, they're
no,
so
it's not the electric slide, it's locomotion. Everybody's
and
doing a brand new dance now.
right?
Yeah.
And it's that geese. It's the way the geese fly, birds fly when they go into the V,
Mhm.
where those like we don't it's not one leader, it's a fellowship of leadership. It's a
Well,
fellowship of leadership.
even as a
Run
teacher,
together,
I had the
run
perfect I
together.
had the perfect name. I say, "Hi,
Mhm.
my name is Mrs." This is my introduction to my class. Little kids, big kids, whoever I was with. "Hi, my name is Mrs. Foss." And that rhymes with boss. And what a good boss does is help you get your job done by what you need to learn. And then I would say, "Take your hands and put them on your head. Go ahead, Nance, take your hands, spirits. This is the head of the person in charge of your learning." And then I'd say, so my job as a boss is, again, to help lead you to what you need to learn to get your work done. Some of you, it's going to be about your behavior. Some of you, it's going to be about reading. Some of you, it's going to be about math. We all have different things we need to do to learn to do our jobs. And
It's
that's
why stand-up desks were created, ladies and gentlemen, so that we could adapt our way of being as humans in a classroom where we are expected to conform.
yeah.
And that's where we have these behavioral, we're labeled with behavioral problems. I have a stand-up desk, Kitty. Here we go. Because I often need to stand to work. My one son, Jarrett, was his teacher understood he couldn't sit still.
Oh, yeah.
He's in a career now where he is in the trades. He doesn't sit still. He does. He's a physical mover. He's like Bob the Builder. He's got such an exceptional mind when it comes to sheet metal and ductwork and wow, and in the art of how to treat other people. And she adapted for him and allowed him to stand at the back of the class with a tall desk. They didn't have, stand-up desks. They had a tall desk where tall children stood, and she understood that, or where the children that were taller so that their legs would fit under the desk.
Mhm.
And that was where he
I had
was.
I had kids who worked on balls so they
Yeah.
could wiggle, or had that's Ozzy, the Ozonator. Um, and
Bark at the
Ozzy,
moon.
come here. Um,
Bark at the moon, Ozzy. I love it.
well,
I was
come
an
here.
80s
Come
rock
say
and
hi.
roll girl,
Say hi to
man.
all the people. Come on, come on, come on. Ozzy goes home tomorrow.
Oh, hey, Oz. Hi, Ozzy.
This
I
is
love his
Ozzy.
voice. He's like, who dat? Who's that voice? Hi,
Yeah, he's been with us since the
Ozzy.
29th.
Oh,
So, um, God, look at we're almost out of time.
I know.
And it's important that we again, there's the compassion that this Jupiter is going to bring us. How do you got to get your work done? We got to figure this out. What can I do? It's not a threat on me if you got to sit on a ball. If I got to get on the floor and read with you, then I'm going to get on the floor and read with you, you know?
Absolutely. And in understanding how we can work with people, we also have to honor that there's some people that we can't.
Right. And that's
It's
not on them,
okay. No,
and
it's not on them. It's not on you. It's a
well,
fact.
it
Fact
can be
line.
on me and I'm enough that
Yeah,
if it's on me, it's a my thing. I don't have to make, and that's one thing I'm going to be learning to let go of in this nodes of destiny switch is, um, it's not that I'm not enough because it doesn't work for me. It's just that it doesn't work for me. It's that it is what it is. I am
mhm,
who I am, and that is enough. It is the
yes,
same
yes.
energy.
I
And
teach a journaling exercise with, my peeps, my people, my clients, my whatever you wanna call them, and, the peeps I work with, that is about, recognizing what it is that you have completed and about satisfaction and acceptance, and
Mhm.
it's such a powerful exercise. I love,
And the
uh
world's
oh,
destiny nodes are moving
yes,
into this.
yes,
And it's in the energy of uncovering and aligning with your own values, deep meditative, deep. And for
deep.
those people, all of us, we're back to I went to sleep in one country and woke up in another one. Um,
Yeah,
all of us are there. That's where this compassion steps forward. And if you feel yourself, the word I would have been told is not absorbing or imploding. It means you just need to take some time. It doesn't make you wrong, not able to be in this evolution. It just means take some time.
yesterday on my, live, I offered this at the end.
Oh, I saw this. Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. Self-reflection.
Right.
Like, stay out of everybody's business, the business of thinking that you know what other people what's that beautiful phrase you say, Kitty? On your 63rd year, you
On my
learn.
63rd year, I learned that I have no idea why people think what they think. You know, it's not my business. You know, my own life is barely my business. I learned that very deeply in the 60s. I have no idea why people do what they do or what they're thinking. And so when I
And our
withdraw,
darling friend Daphne and her You Do You, which was a
right,
revolutionary book, a
Yeah.
memoir years ago. She's always been ahead of the curve. I love Daph. You do you. You do you. And
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 you,
not
you
and not
don't
with
have,
Shaniqua, you do you.
yeah.
Eh,
You do you, boo.
you do you,
Like,
boo. It's
yeah.
okay. It doesn't need to be, oh yeah, if you disrespect others,
But when I do
others
it like
will
this, I'm
disrespect you.
when I'm doing it like this, I'm already making a decision about you. And again, I'm thinking I know what you're
No.
why you're doing it. You just do you. I've got to own what I do. Well, Nance, we're going to be
I
continuing this
know.
through the year. Wow.
Yeah, you know what? So much collaboration with you and I, man. I just love how spirits just like, and yeah, wow. Woo! Love
Will you
everybody.
make
Thank you all for tuning in. This
Yes,
has
thank
just
you very
been
much.
so amazing.
We'll be back
So
next week around
amazing.
the same time. We're
Around
kind
the
of a
same
little
time.
around the same time, you
Yeah,
know. So,
yeah. Love you. Mwah.
love you. Namaste.
Namaste.